Sons of the Forest is the sequel to The Forest, which implies that the series is progressing backwards, or is it forwards, I'm not sure, to the Grandsons of the Forest and beyond perhaps. But more on that shortly. Let's take a look at how you got here.
With your tainted mongrel blood.
But let's deal with the big issue. Who was that guy in the horrible silver jacket who knocked you out? I guess he could have shot you, but chose instead to give you a pistol whip to the head for some offence you probably caused, so that all seems fine to me. On the beach, one of your mercenary friends, notice the speech marks indicating you're using that word loosely, is rolling around on the ground. He looks slightly gormless, so the obvious choice is to leave him, as you're not sure there is room for two on this tranquil slice of heaven. Now you know that cannibals roam this slice of paradise, and on that note, if you've ever wondered what human flesh tastes like, don't forget to sub and like. Anyway, the cannibals are, as far as you know, the indigenous folk, so perhaps you and your predecessors are no more than just plundering orcs, cutting down trees and slaughtering the wildlife. Perhaps you are the trespasser on their beautiful land. Perhaps you don't belong. So why are you here? Well, you were sent to rescue some financially bloated people named Puffleduff or Gryffindor or something, and now you must survive amongst the natives. But every challenge is an opportunity and you have a choice to make. Continue with your mission to seek out Mr. and Mrs. Ravenclaw, or don't bother with most of that. After all, they are probably just ungrateful rich bastards and deserve all they get. So just live here off-grid and see what happens. In fact, treat this island like your own amusement park. Yep, some rides are pretty extreme. There is only one choice really, so you crack on with your aimless experiment. Spotting a cave nearby, you rapidly explore it, finding some nice gear and some cave dwellers. These are not the locals clearly, but some mutation, some subspecies no more valuable to the planet than earthworms, so they are fair game for your axe. But no messing around here as you push into the cave, throwing Molotovs and grenades. It is always best to make an impression in an uncertain situation, like walking into a party where you know absolutely nobody and loudly announcing, "I am here, motherfuckers," then smashing a glass on the ground and doing the dab. Your view of these bottom feeders is reinforced when babies hurl themselves at you like spinning tops and climb the walls like, well, spider babies.
They've got a spider baby.
A what?
A spider baby. You know, it's kind of a freak show thing, you know, it's got the body of a spider, but it's actually a baby.
Those kids are going to have major issues when they grow up, so you relieve them of that burden. At the back of the cave, you find a taser, and call it a day and sprint back to the entrance and find your mercenary friend Kelvin, or Agent K, still on the beach. You remember he is a hired gun with no morals, but even you can't take his incessant moaning, so you help him up, and then reward him with 50,000 volts. So you sprint inland trying to lose him, but he keeps following you. Very annoying. Agent K is in fact quite clingy like your ex. When you get to a nice camping spot, you start building. Next the natives turn up, so you throw some rocks at them, just to warn them off as their stares are somewhat unsettling, reminiscent of your mum looking at you in disgust after she walks into your bedroom unannounced. But one native is quite persistent, and his annoyingness causes you to snap and throw some logs at him, accidentally hitting Agent K. After reviving him, he looks a little down, so you give him a recharge. Soon after, a strange lady turns up, but she is not a lady, she is a monster, and she is clearly an ally of those cannibals, so when they are not looking, you take no chances and dispatch her. No good will come from a relationship with her. Despite your efforts, her body just will not burn, proving killing her was necessary because she is clearly a devil spawn. Not long later, you start to see where the tensions with the natives are coming from. Agent K's behaviour. He is constantly rude to them, he stares and points, and his actions are honestly provocative. As you can see, they are chasing him. When he finally eludes them, he needs a good rest and finds that it is best found sitting under a fire in the water. If this was a Survivor series, he would have been voted off rather early. Nearby you find a small camp with a radio, and the sounds playing out of it are from the 80s, are just dope. But you can't pick it up, so you kick it all the way back to camp so you can listen to that sick music while building. But unfortunately it vanishes at some point, maybe stolen by the natives, and who could blame them. Next you find a hidden base and a 3D printer where you make some arrows and a sled, which fits seamlessly into your backpack. If you don't ask, they don't tell. Mum's the word as to how that all works. Your map leads you to the seashore where you can see a raft. Nothing could go wrong swimming out to this, could it? Of course not, don't be silly. The swim is painless, not like the climb into the raft, which is so excruciatingly slow you are almost screaming at your PC. But you do recognise good game design when you see it. On the raft you do get some big scores and your little heart almost explodes when a fin breaks the surface, which is bad enough in itself, but it is now getting dark. What could be more comforting than swimming in pitch black water with great white sharks in it? But putting on your speedos you leap in and swim for it with only one chomp along the way, which you shake off like a true blue Aussie surfer. Back at camp, the base is coming along well at the expense of the local tree line, and the natives keep visiting, showing some super slick shoulder roll dance moves. And from time to time a stray shows up and is clearly impressed with what he sees as he sits there observing you and Mr. Gormless for some time. Is this a future Padawan? As the base gets higher, it strangely attracts squirrels who mistakenly think it is a tree, so you practice your spear throws.
But I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
The bird boxes are proving to be super successful, so very eco-friendly. Therefore, why make just a couple? Make, well, a few more. Now you do wonder if the natives are frequenting you so much as they are simply stunned by your building, so you make them their own little house close by. It isn't a trap, not at all. But they seem to enjoy the freedom of the wild more than the comforts of home and slowly knock it down. It's okay, it's probably just a clash of two cultures. But then you witness a tragedy. A poor native gets in trouble in the water, and as you are so stunned by what you see, you totally forget to rescue him. Note to self, they are bad swimmers, really bad. Leaving them to their life lessons, you head out on some exploring and find a holiday park with rather large angry red fellas who insist on running at you, leaving you no choice but to negotiate with Mr. 9 Mil, and those negotiations go badly. Nearby you find some very tired wingsuiters. Too much adrenaline can do that to you. Without warning, winter sets in, and as you get to barbecuing, look who should turn up, Mr. Clingy. Well, there is one way to shake him, and that would be to do some mountain climbing, so you head up and stumble across the find of all finds, a very robust looking hang glider. Your inexperience shows here as you repeatedly fail to get it launched, but when you do, you see a view of the island you've never seen before. Now, every now and again, a miracle does happen, as you are hopelessly lost, but you suddenly spot your base below and land nearby, just missing the natives' camp, lucky for them. Back at base, a second miracle eventuates as your guest house has attracted a native who is enjoying the homely pleasures, until he pops through the wall like an escaping poltergeist. Now it would be easy at this point to think that the natives are in tune with nature, at one with it, they know every crevasse and hill, they have a deep connection with the island, but it turns out that every tribe has a klutz. Oof. Understanding that the natives likely need mental challenges, you set up an obstacle course, and you expect them to hurdle it like gazelles, but sometimes things just do not go to plan. Soon after, whilst peacefully getting some lumber, this happens. And the runaround commences. It takes a total of 8 minutes to kill this thing. There is one last cave to explore, and it turns out to be a big one with everybody's favourites: blindies, stomach munchers, and spider babies. But grenades, molotovs, arrows and C4 do the trick. And the reward, a zip gun. And look at what this zippy thing can do. To finish your aimless adventure, you head up Bulls Canyon, scramble through Cannibal's Crack, and finally stand upon Knob Peak. There you can view your conquered island. Sucking on a can of Bulls Up, you pick the steepest slope and start the sled ride down. Jesus, I almost shit my pants. Thanks for watching. See you in the next chapter.